Yay! What's up, what's up, what's up? I'm Alexandra Harbushka, founder of Life with Herpes. I'm excited to be live with you today. It's Friday, so I hope that you are enjoying your Friday. Hope you're gonna go out, have fun, have a cocktail, I don't know, have pizza, fries, burger, whatever. Relax, watch a movie, whatever it is. I just hope you're gonna enjoy your weekend. All right, so let's talk a little bit about herpes. I've had herpes since 2003, actually. I was diagnosed with genital or oral HSV-1 in 2003, and then I was diagnosed with genital HSV-2 in 2011. So I have had herpes for decades, and I realized when I was diagnosed with genital herpes, when I was diagnosed with genital herpes, that there really is truly nothing out there for people like us who are diagnosed to get information, feel connected, feel like you're not alone, feel like your life is not over. So anyways, this is something that I decided I wanted to do. I wanted to open up and talk. Oops, what? So anyways, I am joining you from Las Vegas. Can't wait to see where you guys are from around the world. Okay, let's get to it. Let's start talking a little bit about earlier in the live yesterday, I want to talk about supplements. So supplements are things that we can do to improve our immune system. It can also help the herpes virus. I'd like to preface, I am not a doctor, so I want to make that very clear. I'm not a doctor, not a nutritionist, nothing of that sort. I am just speaking from the sense that this is something I have lived with for a number of years. I have spent thousands of dollars on supplements, working with medical professionals, doctors, naturopaths, all sorts of things. So I do think that this is really important, and I think that this is really beneficial. So with that being said, supplements. So let's talk a little bit about lysine and arginine, and let's talk a little bit about the herpes virus. So the herpes virus likes to pop up, likes to have outbreaks, cause outbreaks when our body's under stress, when our immune system is low, or if we're fueling it in any way. So what I mean by that, if stress is like the biggest silent thing that's in our lives, like stress causes so many things that we don't even realize: heart attack, anxiety, depression, all this stuff. It's silent, we can't see it, and so we a lot of times can't measure our stress levels. But stress is something that is going to be really important for us to try to eliminate or try to monitor. I have a friend, and she was prescribed the antiviral so that she would not get outbreaks, and her response was, why would I take something that would mask my stress levels? If I'm getting an outbreak, that means that I'm stressing my body. And so if I'm stressing my body too much, then I need to know. So this is something that we can look at in a good, positive way, right? We don't want to burn the candle from two ends. I just had someone in our secret society group say to me, like, Alexandra, you're always going 1,000,000 miles an hour. How do you do it? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. But I have an outbreak right now, so it makes sense. My body is reacting in a way that it is. Like that I'm basically stressing my body out, and therefore it's telling me, like, I'm going to give you, thanks for the hearts, I'm going to give you an outbreak because you're stressing it out. So stress is something that's really something to monitor. The next thing I want to talk about is arginine and lysine. What are arginine and lysine? If you've never heard about arginine and lysine, it's like, what is this? Arginine and lysine are essential amino acids. What does that mean? It means they're proteins. They're proteins in our body. They're really important, essential. They're important. We have to get them from foods we consume. So it's not something that we produce. It's not something that our body makes. It's something that we have to consume in our foods in order to get these essential amino acids, these proteins. So what did they do? Arginine is really great for cardiovascular health. It improves athletic performance. It's great for I think I kind of summed it up on that one. Then we have lysine that's really great for tendon repair. It's really great it helps us metabolize other nutrients in our body. They're basically the building blocks of our muscles and just help our bodies function. So what does this have to do with herpes? So lysine actually suffocates the herpes virus. It prevents the herpes virus from going into replication. Meanwhile, on the flip side, arginine is what fuels the herpes virus. It is an absolute lighter fluid. It is Miracle Grow. It is, let's throw gas on the fire. It fuels it and it encourages it to grow. So when we have lysine, what it does is it blocks the arginine from entering the herpes virus. Now there's tons of studies that are in vitro, that are basically in a petri dish, and then there's studies done on us that are in the human body. Studies done on petri dishes or like the herpes virus outside the body, when you give it lysine, it basically suffocates the virus. The virus hates it. So what can we do to help that? That would be diet, right? So there's certain foods that we can consume more of or avoid in order to help this outbreak or help our life with herpes. With that being said, the first thing I thought when I was like, well, I just won't eat arginine anymore, because like if arginine's the devil, then I won't eat it. Well, we can't do that, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it's essential. It's an essential amino acid, meaning we need it. It's important. We need it for our body. Our body needs this. So what we can do is we can look at how much we're consuming, and we can look at the quantities. We can look at we can look at things like that. So what we also can do is consume more lysine. So there's foods that are high in lysine, like eggs, like dairy, like fish, shellfish, potatoes, other things like that are really high in lysine that can support it. The next thing that we can do for like, all right, I still want to bump it up, I still want to see what I can do, we can take lysine supplements. So this was introduced to me probably about 5 years ago. I had never heard of lysine. I was like, why would I take lysine? Lysine is something that we can add as supplements, and we can take them and consume them. Again, I'm not a doctor. I recommend talking to your medical team to find out, what works best for you. But something you can take, does it correspond with other drugs you're taking, so on and so forth. But lysine is something, it's a supplement, it's over the counter. You can buy it at the store, you can buy it on Amazon, you can buy it from the companies directly. It really does it really does help. So I personally have been taking lysine for like 5 years, and I notice that when I go off lysine is when I have outbreaks. Hence, I have one now. I didn't order lysine, I was out, and I got an outbreak. So if you're wondering, my favorite lysine right here is from Natural Cure Labs. They do a great job. This is the lysine I take. I take this daily. This one is in a 600 milligram. It's recommended, again, talk to your doctor, but it's recommended roughly to take about 1,000 milligrams a day. This would be 1,200 milligrams, totally fine. When you do not have outbreaks, if you do have outbreaks, take about 3,000 milligrams. Again, do the math, see what works for you. But this is what I take. I take it daily, and it's very, very effective for me. So let me know what questions you guys have on lysine, and I'd be happy to answer them. On the flip side, there's something else that I think really works and corresponds with lysine. It is called monolaurin. It's called monolaurin. So monolaurin, what is monolaurin? It is lauric acid. So what's lauric acid? Because this was just newly introduced to me as well. So lauric acid is something that's found in human breast milk, not cow's milk, not goat's milk, not other mammals that produce breast milk for their children. It's just human breast milk. And how this happened was researchers and scientists realized, like, how is it that babies are born all over the world in different conditions, and how is it that they are surviving? How are they not getting sick? Well, it's because in the human breast milk, there is lauric acid. So what does lauric acid do? Lauric acid actually dissolves the enveloped viruses, and it dissolves the outer shell, the outer layer, the protective layer that's around a virus. How does that benefit us? How does that help? Well, if the virus has this outer shell around it, our immune system cannot penetrate it to do what it needs to do. It can't penetrate it to fight it. So here we have viruses like herpes going around in our bodies, and our immune system really can't penetrate them. The virus is kind of in control of us, opposed to us being in control of it. So lauric acid, aka monolaurin, has the ability to do that. So we find it in 3 ways: human breast milk, palm oil, or like palm, hearts of palm, like the palm kernel oil, and coconuts. So those are 3 ways that we get it. Now, obviously, we're all not going to go around breastfeeding. So we developed things from coconuts in order to take this supplement in addition to lysine or other things to help us build our immune system, help us with the herpes virus and other things going on in our virus. So anyways, that's a lot of information I just gave you. I also take Monolaurin from the same company. This is the one I take as well. And I take this daily as well to help me with my herpes virus. That's what it looks like. It's just a little white powder pill. But these two things combined are what I take daily for my immune system, because what's happening if our immune system is compromised, if our immune system is working on overdrive, if our immune system is not doing what, if it can't work at what it's supposed to do, that's when the herpes virus pops up. I like to use the analogy when the mouse is away. Wait, that's not the analogy. When the cat's away, the mice will play, right? So if the cat's out, the mice will come out and play, right? So if your immune system is preoccupied with something else, then it's like an opportunity for herpes to be like, hey, let's show up. Let's have an outbreak. Because we have to think about it from the herpes virus mindset. Its purpose in life is to have blisters. That's its purpose. That's the only way it spreads. That's the only way it can procreate. So again, we can't really blame it, but that's just what it does. Okay, let me go back and answer some questions that you guys had. Oh, and also I have this linked in the bio. You guys can order these. There's a promo code. Make sure you use it. You get 10% off. I use this daily. Like I said, I swear by it. Went to the gynecologist. I thought I had herpes, but she said it isn't herpes, but I'm having symptoms. So what I would invite you to do, for any of us, if we're like, do I have herpes? I'm freaking out. Definitely get that checked out. We do not want to go through life with this like up and down. Well, maybe I have it, maybe I don't. Worried. Then it just creates anxiety. It creates inconsistency. We don't want our partners to get upset with us and say, well, you didn't follow through. Why didn't you follow through? All that. So, and of course, if you're in pain and you're having symptoms, then you want to get that figured out. So if you are, for any of you guys that are like, I think I have symptoms, I don't know what to do, I recommend Herp Alert. That is my favorite way to get the information. It's the first telehealth company that is specific to herpes. So they have doctors all over the United States that can that can diagnose you right over the phone or over chat or through just this way, right? So that is really, really great. If you just go to herpalert.com and use the promo code LIFEWITHHERPES, all lowercase, Life with Herpes, you'll get 10% off. I was just texting with the founder and CEO of the company. It is truly an awesome, awesome company, and he's really out here to help us and help get us solutions for our herpes outbreaks. Also, if you need any sort of refill on your prescriptions, things like that, definitely go back to Herp Alert. So yeah, if you guys have questions, go to Herp Alert. And if you're in the same situation as this one person that's like, I had symptoms, I went, they wouldn't do it, definitely have your doctor swab you. Definitely have your doctor perform a blood test. 90% of the people with HSV2 will never get diagnosed, which means that 90% of the people with HSV2 have no clue they have it. So we don't want to be that person. If we're that person, that's when we accidentally transmit it to people. Your parents must have been a baker because you're a cutie pie. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. You just said you recently got Lysine. That's awesome. You just joined the secret society, right? I think I was texting with you. I think you just joined the secret society. That's awesome. Welcome. I'm excited that you're part of it. I created this community because I was so alone when I was first diagnosed, and I'm really glad that you're here, and obviously not glad you have herpes because duh, but I'm glad that you're here. So I can't wait to talk to you on our Monday support group calls as well. So if I take Lysine alone, will it help? Because I take the acyclovir, or whatever, the clovir as well. So yeah, well, Lysine is definitely a more natural way. The FDA approved is Valtrex, valcyclovir, or acyclovir. Valcyclovir, acyclovir, Valtrex. Those are FDA approved, and that is what is the drug that can help suppress the virus. What Lysine does is it works a little more naturally internally to help keep the virus out of replication mode. So when it's not replicating, we're not getting outbreaks, and we're not accidentally, or it's lessening the viral shedding in our body. But having symptoms, what else could be confused for herpes? There's a lot of things. It could be a rash. It could be like razor burn. It could be jock itch. It could be, I don't know what jock itch is because I don't have a jock. I don't know what jock itch is, but it could be that. It could be bug bites. It could be a really, really, really bad yeast infection. If you have blisters, that is something you want to go get that figured out. Typically when we're diagnosed, we may have multiple things going on. So for example, myself, when I was diagnosed, I had a yeast infection. I had probably a UTI. No, I don't think I had a UTI. I had BV, bacterial vaginosis, yeast infection, and herpes outbreak. Oh, and my period. Let's just put it all together, right? So that was what was going on in my life when I was diagnosed. And it's very, very common for us women to have something else going on, BV, yeast, something, and then, oh, here's herpes. Again, what I was saying earlier is when our immune system is shot, when it's focusing on, let's say, a yeast infection, well, here's a great opportunity for the herpes virus to pop up. Okay, does zinc also help? I don't know what zinc is. You usually take Lysine when you feel an outbreak coming, and it usually goes away. Yeah, Lysine is really powerful. Like I said, I take it daily, and I can feel it working in my body when I take it. Like I can feel my symptoms of my outbreak lessen when I take it. Yay, Aaliyah, I know, I can't wait for you to be on the call too. So what do I do if my gynecologist says it isn't herpes, but you're having symptoms? I would reach out to Herp Alert and see what they say. I would then definitely ask for this to be swabbed. So if your gynecologist is not even performing a test, then you need to request a test. You need to have this tested to see what's going on. Do shut up for what? Let me go back. And my blood came back negative, so you're confused. So here's the thing about a blood test, you guys. So what we're testing in our blood is not for the herpes virus. It's not a blood disease. We're testing for the antibodies. So that means that your body will have had to produce antibodies. Now the IgM antibodies are what produced during your first outbreak. So if they do a blood test and it's your first outbreak and they test IgM, then most likely you'll test positive. If once we have continual outbreaks, our body produces the IgG antibodies. Those antibodies can take up to about 3 months. It can be 30, 60, 90 days before those antibodies show up. So if we're just doing an IgG antibody test during our first outbreak, it will come out negative. So that's something else to look at for a blood test. You've had it for 12 years and no outbreaks anymore and no problems dating. That is awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. I'm glad that you're dating. I'm glad you're not having outbreaks. That's awesome. How do you join the secret society and what is it? Okay, so it is our online community of people who are living with herpes. It is a private community. It's off any social media. It is in its own chat group, and it's 24 hours. Like you can text, and there's hundreds of people from all over the world, all different ages, all different walks of life, people that have had herpes for 2 hours or 20 plus years. So I really am passionate about it, and I think there's a lot of great people in the group. You can just go to the link in my bio where it would say, like, I think it says like new, start here, or just got herpes, and it's called the Secret Society, and you can look it up and find it. It's really a great community. Yeah, I'm really sorry that your gynecologist looked at it and said, looks like a razor bump, wasn't much help. Yeah, definitely. I'd say reach out to Herp Alert or go back to your gynecologist. Also, like the Minute Clinic, those are also really helpful as well. Can tobacco flare up herpes too? I have an allergic reaction and then got a cold sore. I would say that like tobacco, I would say if you're allergic to tobacco and you had it, yeah, just like if you're allergic to something and you consume it, then your body's working harder at fighting the inflammation of whatever it's fighting. But I wouldn't say it's like a direct, like if you're a smoker, I wouldn't say that like that causes herpes outbreaks. It definitely lowers your immune system. Smoking isn't good for you. We all know that. But I wouldn't say it's like cause and effect. Was I able to give natural birth? I was able to have a vaginal birth. So yeah, I was able to have a vaginal birth. How many milligrams of Monolaurin daily and how much if you have an outbreak? So Monolaurin is something you work up to because it has this effect of like killing off viruses in your body, like the die-off period. Now the virus will never leave your body. Once we have viruses, we have them for life, but we can like kind of kill them off. And so that's called, I forget what it's called, like Herxheimer, Herx something effect, when basically you have like an adverse reaction in your body. You feel like you're having the flu. So you want to work your way up to it. There's a ton of information on it. If you go to lifewithherpes.com/Monolaurin, I have information for you to research how much you should be taking. It's based off like your height and weight and all that stuff. Have you heard about a cure coming out soon? I get that asked all the time. I personally would not wait around for a cure. I'm sure there will be something, whether there's a vaccine, a cure, there's trials, there's all sorts of things going on. I personally wouldn't wait for that. I would go live your life, because this could be next week or it could be 10 years from now. And I don't want you to wait 10 years for something that you're curing, something that's an annoying bump. We're not curing cancer. We're not curing heart disease. We're not curing things that really are hard on our lives. This is an emotional hardship. It's not a physical hardship. Any kids? I have a baby. Well, he's 2. I have a 2-year-old. Yeah, you just have to request a test. Sorry you're going through that. Can you take the antiviral Lysine and Monolaurin at the same time? Yes, you can. Of course, if you have questions, ask your doctor. But yes, again, Monolaurin is a supplement that is in human breast milk. It's also things that organic companies will use Monolaurin as a preservative. So like if you have organic apples and when they're in shipment, if an apple rots, then the whole, one rotten apple rots the whole bunch or whatever. They use Monolaurin, they spray it on things for bacteria and viruses to keep things from rotting. It's also used in our cosmetics. Monolaurin's used a lot. I think you just caught it 2 weeks ago. You keep having a burning sensation. So yeah, the burning sensation is very familiar for the herpes virus. The herpes virus lives in our nerves, and that burning sensation can be very common. Have you tried Lysine or I just got to try it, but not sure how much to take or even how it works. Yes, I take Lysine. I have it right here. I actually have it on my desk because I take it daily. I would talk to your doctor if you have questions. Follow on the back of here and see what it says. But a typical amount to take daily if you don't have an outbreak is about 1,000 milligrams. Do I recommend holistic doctors? Absolutely. I'm all about holistic. I'm all about natural. Nothing against a Western medicine. I think that they are fabulous as well, but they're typically not going to work with you to get the root problem. And I think natural doctors will help work with you and figure out kind of the breaks in your body. Is size a problem for girls? Is that a serious question? Or are you just effing around with me? So, okay, I think I got through all your questions. I really enjoyed you all being with me today. Do you have any more questions about herpes, about living with herpes, about dating, about disclosing, about do you think you have herpes? Why do you have dry skin? It could be dehydration. Like I can see I have lots of wrinkles right now because I'm dehydrated. The dry skin wouldn't be an effect of herpes. It could be just dry skin. I don't know, dehydration mostly. So how do I disclose? Have I gotten rejections from dating? How can you make it longer? Okay, so is size a problem? That wouldn't be a problem necessarily for herpes outbreaks. I think that's all an individual preference on what works for you. How do I disclose? I personally think that you should disclose when you're ready to disclose. There's a lot of people that say they like to disclose right up front before they even go on a date. I would say, what are your intentions and what are your expectations? Is the intention to have a one-night stand? Is the intention just to have a fling on the side, or is it something that's a longer term? Are you looking for a longer term relationship? If you're looking for just a fling and you're looking just for fun, then yeah, I would disclose right up front. I would disclose as soon as possible because that is your intention. Your intention is to get to that point of that. If you are looking for a longer term relationship, more of a relationship, friendship, more of a foundation, I would wait to whenever you're ready to sleep with the person. You want to get to know if that person's even deserving to know about you. Are you going to go on the date and that person just totally annoys you, pisses you off, and you can't wait to leave the date? Then they don't even need to know that you have herpes, because you're never even going to get to that point. So the thing is we get to decide when we disclose. That's the important thing. There's no one like forcing us to disclose. There's no one forcing us to disclose up front. You only need to disclose you have herpes unless you're going to expose them to it. Have I gotten rejections for dating? Of course I have. Sometimes they weren't to my face. They were like, yeah, I'll call you later. But the thing is, I got rejected even before I had herpes, or I got rejected even without disclosing I had herpes. So rejection happens, rejection is real, and really herpes has nothing to do with it. I like to say we get rejected for 3 reasons. Either number 1, the person is not like emotionally able to have the sexual health conversation, like it's like, or like just be emotionally ready for sex. Like I know that may sound silly, especially if you're 50 years old, but a lot of times we don't take it seriously. Number 2 would be this person is married to a preconceived or had this preconceived notion, thought about STIs, STDs, especially herpes. And they're not open and willing to hear statistics. They're not open and willing to have conversations about it. And then number 3, the reason why we get rejected, and this is the hardest one to hear, is they just weren't that into you. They're not into you. So they're not willing to take the risk or take a chance, which is really, really frustrating to feel and hear. But I can remember being rejected, being like, I don't get it. Like, we're connected. What's going on? And it had nothing to do with herpes. Oh, how do I buy the soap? Link in the bio for shopping the herpes products, and you will see it. And I love the soap. There's lots of other products. I still have them out. I need to put them away. You can see all the products right there. I'm just sorting through everything. But these are the Secret Society wellness products that I have that we took over a year to formulate. They're amazing. They're organic. They're natural. And they're formulated specifically for herpes outbreaks. My son was using this one. It's the SPF Lifesaver Lip Balm. This is what you would use if you have oral herpes. If you don't have oral herpes, it's still great. But it is SPF. There's Lysine in here as well. We were talking about Lysine earlier. You apply it directly. This right now has been one of the best sellers. It's a recovery soak. Honestly, anytime I feel an outbreak, if I get in with this, it relaxes me. B, it helps the itch, helps the tingle, helps the recovery. And this is really, really great. The salts will soothe and wound heal. This one is your guys' favorite. It's the Rescue Balm. And you apply this directly to your genital outbreak. And there's peppermint, which helps with the herpes virus, and eucalyptus, which also helps. And there's lysine in this, also very powerful. This is my personal favorite. I like to apply this directly to the wound. I'm more of an oil person. Again, you guys mostly prefer this. I'm more of an oil person. I also will use this all over my body as well. It just helps. There's tea tree oil in this, which helps with wound healing. It helps with sanitization. I like this. And then, there's a lot of other products here. I don't want this to turn into like an infomercial, but this is also what I use daily. It's positivity lotion that I apply daily to my body, and I've been out of it. So there's lots of other products. I'm not going to go into them, but so much great stuff here. What are the symptoms for herpes? So it can be swollen lymph nodes. It can be obviously blisters. It can be nerve sensation. It can be tingly. It can be itchy. I said swollen lymph nodes, flu-like feelings. Any vitamins I'd recommend? Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. It's these 2. I have Lysine and Monolaurin. These are the 2 that I recommend for herpes outbreaks. Natural Cure Labs, I have it linked for you guys to order them. Use a promo code LWH. You get 10% off. I'm a huge fan of just both of these together. So I missed what you said about the blood test. About what? IgG, IgM. Antibodies can take up to 90 days to actually occur, like to show up. So a lot of times we'll get tested and it was too soon, so we'll test negative. So herpes doesn't live in our blood, it lives in our nervous system. So I would recommend I'd recommend getting tested. If you tested negative and you're like, I was exposed, I'm having symptoms, I would go back and get tested again within probably 90 days. The IgM antibody test is going to show that it's a brand new outbreak. IgG is going to show that it's been, you've had it for a while. Thank you. I appreciate you as well. Should I ask in front of everyone? Ask whatever you want to ask. You're not scared of herpes. I don't know why anyone is. That's awesome that you're not scared of it, and great. I mean, that's awesome because it's something that 80% of the population has, and it's something that we pretty much can't avoid if we're going to live life. How long have I had it? I've had it since 2003. My little boy just got up. I have to go. Let me just look at these last two messages. I don't know. They could tell you how long. They can't tell you how long you've had it. They can just tell that you've had it for a while. So if it's your first outbreak and you go in and you get IgG antibodies, you've had it for a while. It's just your first outbreak. How often do I get outbreaks now? Orally, I've had 4 in 19 years, so not very often. Genitally, I do get them quite often, and I'm really working with that and dealing with it. I'll go through phases where I won't get them, then I'll go through phases where it's like back to back. All right, I have to go because my baby just woke up. Have an awesome weekend. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you soon in the next live. Have a great day. Bye, guys.